Welcome back to the Motherhood Collective Co. Thanks for being patient with us while we took a very short but very needed break.
Very needed break.
Very needed.
I messaged Amanda because she posted that and she was being sweet because she was like, one of us had a rough week. And I messaged her and I was like, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. It was just so weird. Like, I don't know. Every time we were going to go record, like, I had a 24-hour fever, which was so strange because I never get fevers.
Yeah.
And then I got a migraine. Never get migraines. So Amanda was like, stop working out so hard.
Yeah.
Take a freaking nap or something. And so I've been trying to.
Well, and then I feel like I had to remind you again today. Like, you're only 3 months postpartum. You guys, like, you're not even out of the 4th trimester yet. Just chill.
I know.
Chill out.
I know. I need to. I think I just spent my whole pregnancy so excited for getting my body back because I just never feel uglier, truly. And I wouldn't say this in front of Sunny, but then when I'm pregnant. Yeah. I just hate being pregnant in that sense.
You're sick your whole pregnancy.
Yes.
And I think that probably plays a big part in it. Mm-hmm. It's like you're physically miserable. It's not fun for you. So, of course, you're not going to like the way you look while you're physically miserable.
Yeah, and I just feel like I gained 50 pounds regardless of what I do or don't do, regardless of how much I puke or don't puke. Like
45 pounds both times.
It's just, it's a lot. So then I'm like, when you start to feel a little bit normal again, you're like, I want to go do something with all of this. And I think I just waited like too long postpartum with Sunny to like do something about working out that it got to be just kind of in a rut, you know? Yeah. So,
but if you're listening to this, it's okay to move postpartum, but maybe don't add weights just right away. I was telling Jesse, like, you still have relaxin in your body for 5 full months after you have a baby, right? It can be found in your body. That means like all of your joints are still super mobile. And if you're working out, especially if you're using weight, you can really mess yourself up. Yeah. Cause a lot of pain. I'm still messing myself up. Yeah. 7 months postpartum. My neck hurts right now.
I know. Amanda's had a rough day. She has a sad face on.
Do I?
Yeah. It's okay.
I usually have a lot more energy than
you.
I can't move my head. It's fine.
That's when you know you're like best friends though. I like only need to see her face one time and I'm like, oh, I feel like something's wrong.
Well, there's dishes in my sink. That's a red flag right there.
That's okay. Amanda made me feel so much better about my morning because we were tentatively going to hang out. It was kind of like maybe. And then this morning, it was just one of those mornings that you're like, I swear I can't do anything right. Mm-hmm. And it's not even all like your stuff. It's like I sat down on the couch with my coffee. Bella jumped up, spilled my coffee all over me. And I was like, you know what? I can recover from this. This is fine.
It's okay.
Totally fine, right? Day. And then I go, to get more coffee and like clean up the couch. And then I see that Ledger pooped all over his bouncer. I'm like, okay, now I need to go put you in the bath. So I'm carrying him up the stairs like 2 feet away from me because he's covered in poop and like he needs to size up diapers already, which is a bummer. So I like put him in the bath, and then on my way to the bath, Sunny goes, Mom, look, I made a friend. And I'm like, what friend are you talking about? She has a huge black spider on her arm.
That is so sad.
And I screamed so loud, and I was already just so like over it. I'm like, why is this so overwhelming? Like this should be manageable, it should be manageable. And then I'm like, oh, dinner tonight is a crock pot meal. Like I need to get that in the crock pot within the next couple hours and just stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? Pot. I do. I know. Yeah, I really do.
I've started using that instead of the crock pot because I can just do it an hour before I need to eat.
Like, oh. Yeah, because it kind of feels like you're doomed if you don't start dinner by 10 a.m. I know. So anyways, Amanda was like, just, let it go. Just take a nap. Just chill. I don't even know what you said, but I was like, you know what? That's the permission I needed today to just like be.
Well, here we are at the end of January. Wait, is it going to be February by the time we release this? I don't think so.
No, it'll be the 31st, last day, yeah.
And we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions, which is still fine because it's still January. Yeah. Most people haven't given up on their New Year's resolutions yet. Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We posted a question box last week. Right?
Yes,
yeah, last
week.
You did. Asking people like, what do you need help with resolutions? What are your resolutions? Like just anything related to the topic went. So we're just going to kind of go through them and chat and be chill.
Yeah. I'm going to get a little more cozy. Okay, so we'll just read these as they came in so that we're not because we're probably not going to get to all of them. We'll try to. Slowing down in everything and being more present with the people I'm with. We talked about this last week.
That was like, that's like my biggest, my biggest New Year's resolution. I do have actionable steps for it, but like one of my things is every day I'm going to read something that makes my heart happy. Like it makes me grow, and I'm going to read my scriptures every morning. I don't care what I have to do to make happen. Today I did it 5:00 in the evening because my day was so busy, but that helps me slow down instead of being like on my phone. What am I doing next? Like, let me just read something that makes me feel good. And then also like being present with my kids. We talked about that last time too.
Right. I think it really does take just locking your device up somewhere if possible. Cause I think that's probably the biggest thing that keeps us from being present with whoever we're with.
I've been making a game. Like, how long can I leave it on the kitchen counter?
I know. I love that. That's awesome. Survival with this new baby that I have.
Oh, it won't always feel like survival.
I know.
It won't. I was just talking to a mom today who's got a brand new baby. She's not sleeping well, and her baby's got gas. And I just told her, I was like, because she's doing all the things and she's doing everything right. And I just told her, like, listen, there is an adjustment period where, and she's a first-time mom, where you are getting used to being a mother for the first time. You're operating on a level you've never operated before. You've got to get used to not sleeping. You've got to get used to constantly being needed, to constantly being touched, to constantly thinking outside of yourself. That's a huge deal. And also your baby has to get used to being in the world. Like their stomach is getting sustenance for the first time instead of just amniotic fluid. Their body is expelling waste for the first time. Everything. They're exposed to light and air, and it's hard. That's a hard adjustment. So like, give yourself time and grace. If you're in that space, it feels like survival now. In a few months, it won't. You'll be thriving again. Yeah.
And you just hit this window where you're like, I can do anything. Yeah. It kind of just happens overnight almost, where the things that you used to not be able to do, all of a sudden you're doing them and things feel less overwhelming. And then you have those moments where, you're starting to feel like yourself again, and you have those moments of feeling overwhelmed again. And it just, like, you kind of go back and forth. And that is, I think, just being a mom. Yeah. But it does get easier, and you develop rhythms, and you get to know your baby, and you know what they like and what they don't like. And, they're their own person.
It stops feeling so overwhelming.
Totally. It will. Putting my kitchen to bed every night. Tidying up, wash and put away dishes, quick sweep.
Love that.
Yeah.
I function very well in a clean house.
I know, you're talking to the right people. I'm like, I can't rest easy at night if I know that the house wasn't put to bed. I like that terminology.
Put it to bed. Yeah. And sometimes I'll just stay up late after the kids are in bed, because I'm like, if they're awake, this is going to take me an hour. If I just wait and spend this time with them right now and wait until they're asleep, I can do it in 20 minutes. Yeah. And Birdie's been working so late lately. That's kind of what I've been doing. It's been nice.
Yeah. It is nice. It's kind of your time to just wind down.
Yeah.
How to give grace with a fitness goal postpartum.
Okay.
I feel called out.
Yeah, listen. Listen. We already talked about the relaxing. Okay, your body's not ready for a hard workout. I follow plenty of fitness gurus who are hitting it hard, a month after they have given birth. I'm not going to say it's not realistic, because for them it's realistic and it's great. Get it, girl. You've been working on this for years. It's your job. This is how you get paid. So I get it. You need to get back to work. But for like the average woman, that's not realistic. And I would say change your idea of what fitness is. Put a purpose behind it, because if you are working out to look a certain way, I can promise you your New Year's goal is not going to sustain itself. If you put a purpose behind it, like, I want to do a certain thing. I wanted to close the trunk of my 4Runner, and I got strong enough to do it. You know what I mean? Like, give a purpose behind it. I want to be able to bend down and pick up my baby off the floor and it not hurt my back. Yeah. Like, a good goal. And then also, like, you don't have to be in a gym to do that. Just do some like body weight squats, go on a freaking walk. Like, I would say the whole first year postpartum, you need to give your body a ton of healing, rest, and like space to just be. Once you hit a year and you've gradually worked up to lifting weights by doing body weight workouts, by walking, by like doing things that are easy on your body, low impact, then I think you can you can start hitting that a little harder. And someone's going to come after me for that, because I'm sure there's lots of people who are like, no, I'm hitting it so hard right after I had a baby. That's great if that works for you. But for most people,
I feel like you kind of just have to, it has to be kind of a trial and error thing, because there could be people that like you said, feel great doing that. Other people where you're like, okay, I'm going to reevaluate, and kind of, because I think for me, one of my goals, and I mentioned this in our last episode, but I set New Year's resolutions in quarters. So I just like doing that because it feels way more attainable. 3 months, and then my priorities will probably change, and then I can, adapt. But for these 3 months, it's all about doing things even when I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
And so showing up and working out every day, whatever that looks like. Today, we were like just doing body weight stuff.
Yeah. Well, and it sounds like you're mostly trying to grow your mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing to do with your actual body.
Right.
So even if you're just showing up and walking on a treadmill, there's lots of times I don't even want to do that. But you're just showing up and making yourself do something.
Totally. And it's like, all of my goals go in line with what I would typically be like, I don't really feel like doing this today, so I'm just not going to. And I'm just doing it. Mm-hmm. And I'm trusting that I'm going to have the grace for the next day to do those things again. But I would say if you have a hard time giving yourself grace with New Year's resolutions, try doing it in the form of quarters, or even 2 months at a time, even 1 month at a time. Just set a goal and say, for the next 30 days, I'm going to go on a walk every day with my dogs. Yeah. For the next 30 days, I'm going to make sure for the first 2 hours of my day, my phone is in a drawer in another room and I don't touch it. Whatever that looks like.
Always break your goals down. Start with a goal that you know for a fact you can achieve at least 70% of. If you can't achieve 70% of it, like right now, the second it's maybe a failed goal, and you don't want to set yourself up for failure. But then break it down into what you need to be doing day by day. Mm-hmm. Like if I know I want to shut the door of my 4Runner, you know what I mean? Like that's like a 20-pound door. Then I can break down what I need to do week by week and day by day. You know what I mean? Yeah. You have to break it into those small chunks, because looking at something, the big picture without taking the steps is difficult.
Yeah. Successfully transitioned my baby from co-sleeping without crying it out.
You can do it.
You totally can do it.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Yeah, we have great resources for that as well. If you want to message us, we can help you out a little bit more. I think Amanda and I'm just putting us on the spot. I think we're going to be making some kind of course this year about co-sleeping, because it feels like that's the most commonly asked question in our inboxes.
Probably send 4 voice memos a week just from my personal page. Moms reaching out, because I talk all the time about how we transition Noah at 12 months, right? And so I probably send 4. I should just have it like on my phone so I can just send it out.
And maybe we'll like dive back into another series. Maybe we will, but we hear that is a big need, and we're going to try to brainstorm some ways to meet it, because it's a huge passion of both of ours. Gut health probiotics for mama and baby post emergency C-section.
Okay. I got this.
You're in the right place for that as well.
So immediately I would get on a probiotic, Claire Labs, which I didn't know you could order this on Amazon, but you can. Claire Labs K2. It's a mama baby probiotic specifically formulated for breastfeeding mothers so that the baby is getting it too. So that's a great place to start. And then once they start eating solids, once they turn 6 months and you want to start feeding them solids, go follow Wild Nutritionist or look up GAPS protocol. That's what I've been doing with Lily. So with Noah, we did baby-led weaning, led to a lot of eczema. Don't want to do that again. So Lily literally has only eaten some root vegetables and lots of meat stock, fermented milk, things like that, kefir. And I'm making the meat stock myself, and it's super easy. And it's been really well. So like I would just look up the GAPS protocol, but really get on a probiotic post-emergency C-section. And that Claire Labs is a really, really good one. It's Claire Labs K2 Mama Baby something or another on Amazon.
Yeah. And if you are a mom that had a C-section and you had to go on antibiotics, which you did because they make you, and you have issues with that, like every time I go on a antibiotic, I get yeast infections.
That's
and
super common.
It's such a bummer because I feel like it just offsets the microbiome of my whole body in that way. But I actually have a lot of resources for you of how to heal those naturally, because I know that we probably just are told like go to the grocery store, get Monistat. I think that my midwife even recommended some kind of pill. And I was like,
yeah, it's like a one-time.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm not going to take a pill. I already just took all this stuff that I don't feel great about that are going into my breast milk. So message me. There's like tea tree oil suppositories that have worked wonders. There's like this coconut oil stuff that I've been doing as well. There's a probiotic specifically for like your vaginal flora that you keep in the fridge. I don't know the brand off the top of my head, but if that's an issue you have, I've talked to a lot of moms about that as well. Message me and I'll send those particular brands to you.
Do you know what is so interesting? So if you follow my personal page, you know Lily was throwing up her breast milk from day one. Like vomit, 2 feet through the air, Exorcist type stuff. And I've never seen The Exorcist, but I'm just gonna say that's what it was. And I was doing some studying when I was researching this GAPS protocol stuff. And anytime your organs are exposed to air, like through surgery, your body coats the organ in yeast to protect it. So you instantly get this overgrowth of yeast, which is coming out through your breast milk as well. And it's fine for your baby. It's not damaging anything, but a lot of babies will throw that up, spit that up. So if you have a breastfed baby after you had a C-section, that could be what it is. And you might just have to be patient through it, but there's also some protocol you could go through to decrease your natural yeast. But that could also be throw on the antibiotics on top of the overgrowth of yeast because your organs were exposed to air. That's a huge problem.
That makes so much sense. If you're a C-section mom listening to this and your baby
and you're like,
is just having a rough go at the beginning of life, that is probably part of it.
Yeah. So much like they just don't tell you.
No.
Like people know these things. I don't know. Maybe the doctors, they're not trained in school on that. I wish they were. It would be such a more peaceful experience if they could actually tell us how to heal.
My new rhythm for the new year is to do things that future me will be thankful for.
Oh, I love that.
It could be as small as refilling the Berkey or setting the car seat straps right.
I love that little thing.
That really, I actually found myself saying that exact thing to myself today. I'm like, tomorrow I'm going to be so grateful. I just took this 10 minutes to put the laundry away. I could wait till tomorrow. I'm just going to do it right now. Chase has the baby. Like, this is perfect. But that perspective is really good. And I also read something at some point that said, if it's going to take less than 5 minutes, just do it while you look at it. And then my mind immediately goes to, well, isn't there going to be like 20 things that would take 5 minutes? But just pick a few. Like if you walk right past it and you're like, oh, there's like a pile of toys. I'm going to take this and just drop it in this basket or whatever.
You know what one of my favorite games is to beat the timer. Because guess what my most dreaded household chore is?
Yours, dishes.
Yes. Unloading. I can wash dishes all day. I can load the dishwasher all day. But for some reason, I think because that was my chore as a little girl.
That's so funny.
I cannot stand to unload the dishwasher. So I'll play beat the timer and I'm like, what is a time in my head that I find acceptable for this? 4 minutes. Okay. Alexa set a timer for 4 minutes. And I try
Why are we the same person?
I try to beat the timer.
Yes. Okay. I do that all the time and also with driving, which is not good. I'll be like, oh, my map says it's going to take me 13 minutes. Watch it take me 10. Which is not good. But also I do that with my timers and it's really motivating. You're like, okay, this playroom is trash, but can I dedicate? And even if you can't beat the timer, my thought process is like, say you really only have 8 minutes to clean a space.
What can I do in 8
going
minutes?
to look better and be better than when you started. Just, 8 minutes is nothing. Throw it out the 4 minutes, even better. Also, dishes are my least favorite chore as well. I think laundry is my favorite.
I like laundry too.
Yes,
I really do. Especially that's
so
my next
peaceful.
DIY. I'm like, I'm gonna do a cottage core laundry room.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm just gonna spend. My dad's coming in town this weekend. He's gonna flip the door so it opens out, so I have all that space.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
I'm so excited. Yeah.
It's gonna be like candlelit, folding laundry, listening to my audiobook. I'm pumped.
Yes, it really is. I'm like, we are house hunting. Well, we're not anymore. That's weird. We have a house. We were house hunting for like 7 months. And the house that we came the closest to purchasing was beautiful. Had checked all the boxes except for the fact that the laundry room was in the basement, this corner of an unfinished area on the basement. And I was talking to my realtor and I was like, I don't know how to tell you that laundry is a third of my life. I refuse to spend it in this tiny little basement, unfinished, dark, dingy corner. And I think that whole thing about romanticizing your life and all this stuff, it's like, actually, if I could set the tone to make this that I know is going to be an endless chore I'm going to be doing till the day that I die, how can I make this something I look forward to?
Every day I look forward to that.
Yes. It's really so wonderful. With love, advice, resources on making healthier and more natural choices. Food, health, home. Interested but don't want to dive into the toxic crunchy. Okay. Can I just say I had this exact conversation with a friend not that long ago. And she said, I'm just getting into this. What can I focus on? And I said, here are the 4 things for me. And maybe I'll even say 3 and I'll add the 4th thing as an optional. Food, water, air. These are the things that you are going to be using the most in your life. So if you can focus on really high quality food, organic produce, organic grass-fed and finished beefs and meats, as close as to raw milk as you can find in your area, that kind of thing. Water. If you can get a really high quality water filter, whether that's a whole home filtration system or a Berkey that sits on your countertop. Also Berkeys, not as great as, I know somebody just mentioned their Berkey, so I'm not trying to down, but not as great as they've been made out to be. Pro One filters are I was gonna say, you can amazing. Buy filters
for them.
Pro One filters, you can buy them on Amazon and they fit in Berkeys. So that's a great option. They have under the sink filters that are great as well. Message me if you want specific brands. I have a couple different. I'm honestly not that opinionated about a brand. Just find a good high quality one. Air, if you can, get some kind of air doctor or air purification system in your house. Those 3 things,
and
while
change
they're
your
not
air filters, in your AC.
Yes,
that one gets overlooked so much. We have air doctors in our rooms, but it's not. You need to be changing the air filters to your AC. That's the first step, because you'd be amazed at how much that does actually catch.
Yeah, and I think that if you have those 3 things in place that you're focused on, it's maybe you let the other things go until you feel like it's not overwhelming anymore, because those are the 3 things. And then the 4th thing that I say is optional is a high quality organic mattress for you or your kids, because you're spending half of your life on your mattress. You're breathing in all of the things that are on the mattress. There's so many different, just look into it a little bit more.
And I would also add, throw away every cleaning product that you own. And get just I use Branch Basics. You get it and you get it online, branchbasics.com, and it's just a giant concentrate, and they send you bottles and you just refill and pour the bottle, so you're not using as much plastic and stuff. You're refilling your own. I would say cleaning products and laundry are big for me. So Branch Basics, and I use Truly Free. It is honestly my absolute most favorite completely clean laundry brand. It smells great. It works great. So Truly Free laundry detergent or some kind of non-toxic laundry detergent.
I use Molly Suds, which I think that. And then we have a stain stick spray that we use that helps with those stains, because Molly Suds is not going to be super harsh on tackling stains. But I would just choose a few things that are really important to you. I know for me, food and water were always really important to me. I learned about the air thing later on, but I kind of just if you're just starting out and you're here are some basic things, they feel big, but then once you conquer those, maybe you can dive into the other things. For a long time, beauty products and all the hair and the makeup and shampoo, that really overwhelmed me. So just tackling one thing at a time, I think is really helpful.
What are you eating? What are you drinking? What are you breathing? What's touching your skin? I think are the main areas there. And honestly, I think that the least overwhelming one for me was my cleaning products. Because it's just one product,
because you can kind of consolidate it, and then it almost feels less overwhelming.
It does. And
I've heard great things about Branch Basics. I actually clean with vinegar.
I put vinegar in my Branch Basic bottles, because and especially for my shower cleaner, vinegar and baking soda is that's what
I've been wanting to try Branch though, because my dogs and Sunny, when I'm cleaning with the vinegar, the dogs are sneezing and want to be outside, and Sunny's oh, this is so much, I can't do this, and I'm it probably is pretty strong, but it does the job.
It does.
I want to grow in my relationship with God and my faith. I feel like I've drifted.
Well, the great thing about God is that he doesn't care how far you've drifted. You can always turn around. I did a lesson with Noah this week, and we were talking about was it repentance, or maybe it was just sin in general. And the lesson was grab a picture of Jesus and set it like in front of you and have your child look at Jesus. And I wish I would have recorded it. Cause I asked them like, okay, what do you feel? Like, who is this? And he's Jesus. I'm like, what do you feel when you see Jesus? Happy. He's so nice. And he loves me. And he just looks like he's a good friend. Word for word what he said. And I wish I would have recorded it. Yeah. And then I said, okay, Noah, now turn around. And he's like looking at a wall. I'm like, how do you feel now? It's kind of sad. I was like, what do you want to do? I want to turn back around and look at Jesus. So then I told him, like, when we turn around, that's kind of what we do when we start sinning, right? We don't feel comfortable looking at the face of God, right?
Right.
So we kind of turn around, we drift a little farther. And every day it gets a little easier to drift a little farther, because that's the way that Satan works. But you are always invited to just turn back around and look at him. That's the beauty of the atonement of Christ, is no matter how far you've drifted, you always have a place to come back. You can always start over.
Yeah. And I think even thinking about it from the perspective of a father, it's like, he just wants time with his kids. Yeah. So if you have 5 minutes in the car to just pray, just continually pray, you know, that verse that says pray without ceasing, that can seem like really overwhelming, right? But if you're kind of just, the way I like to describe my relationship with the Lord is I'm not necessarily always on my knees or in my scriptures as much as I want to be, but I'm always talking to him.
In your head.
Like my whole day. Yeah. My whole day. If I truly believe that he cares about every little detail of my life, then I'm going to invite him into every little detail of my life. Right. And then you're kind of like ebbing and flowing through the peace that he's giving or removing, depending on like what kind of decisions you're supposed to make. And it turns into more of that relationship instead of the let me check the box and like sit down and do X, Y, and Z. And I don't get me wrong, I have a Bible plan right now. I'm like working through the Bible in a year, and I look forward to that every morning as well. But I think just that relationship, bringing everything to his feet and just saying like, what do you think about this? I think we overcomplicate it sometimes, and there's just no shame for those who are in Christ Jesus. So don't let yourself fall into that and think I've been drifting, so he doesn't want. No, he's sitting there with his arms wide open, just waiting. And there's no shame. Yeah.
Just turn on some Christian music, put some pictures of Christ throughout your house so that he's like on the forefront of your mind all day, and talk to him.
Yeah.
It's that it can be that easy.
Yeah. I have to say that, like, side note, we gave up one of the quarterly goals for the whole family was that we gave up shows for the first 3 months of the year. And I don't think shows are evil. I just want to say that. Like, we love shows in our house, but it was just, we wanted to challenge ourselves. But the thing that is allowed to be on is any sort of like Christian worship music. We turn that on the TV, and there's like music videos and stuff. And last night, Sunny was taking a shower, and she always asks to listen to some kind of Disney princess soundtrack. Well, last night she goes, I want to listen to Brandon Lake. And Chase was like, okay, what song? Tear Off the Roof. And she's belting it at the top of her lungs. And I was like telling him, I'm like, I'm running a little late because we're having a worship dance party, because it's just kind of interesting to see when we removed the noise and the chaos of the shows and infiltrated our house with worship, all of our hearts feel more peaceful, more rested, more joyful. And it's so easy to just like worship because we're just in it. So I just felt like we needed a little bit more like clear minds. And I think that's where it came from. But watching your kid worship their heart out, there's just like beautiful. Nothing like it.
Do you know, Brady sent me a reel today, and it was, and I don't know if this is actually true. I hope it's not, but it seemed like it was, that Amazon is creating an animated show for kids about Satan and why he like was kicked out of heaven, but like making him a victim. Yeah.
Love that.
We're just talking about God and shows, and I'm like, well, okay, well, let's talk about that. And you got all the worries with Disney, and so it's like,
gosh, what a joke. Satan's such a joke to me. I just want to like laugh in his face. I'm like, I saw this reel or this meme the other day that was like, it's like Satan tries to tell you something, and then you're like, oh wait, sorry, I think someone just tried to talk to me that like straight up got kicked out of heaven. Never mind, like I don't need to listen to
straight up got like, kicked out of heaven.
Just dissing him all the time. I think that's where I'm like, I just want to stomp on your head. Like, you literally don't know anything.
Yeah,
you're just a slimy little snake. Being present in playtime even when I have a ton of things to get done. Okay, I have been thinking about this a lot lately because I love playing with Sunny, and I think I always will. But I was reading something the other day that challenged that said, where were we taught that we were to provide entertainment to our children 24/7.
I did not have parents that played with me.
Yeah.
I for a while thought that made me a bad mom. I read my books while my kids play.
Yeah.
And my kids are great independent. Both of them, even Lily at 6-month-old is such an independent player. And everyone asks, like, how do you get him to do that? I'm like, oh no, I don't play with him.
Right. And also just like maybe even inviting them to participate in the tasks you already have to do. So, hey, Sunny, I'm going to go change the laundry over. Do you want to help me? You can press all the buttons. Like today when we were chopping all the ingredients for our crock pot dinner, she got to help me with that. Yeah. She got to pour it all in. And that, I think sometimes we forget that our kids don't know the difference between work and play. Yeah. So if we're working and we're doing things that we already need to do around the house, if you're inviting them into that, they just want to spend time with their mom. So don't feel like, because she said, even I want to remain present even though I have a ton of things to get done. If you have a ton of things to get done, just bring your kids along with you.
Noah sorts my laundry. Like he looks forward to every Monday morning. We go into my closet and we sort the laundry. It was like a homeschool activity on sorting. So that's what we do. He loves that. And he loves to do anything. Your kids want to be a part of what you're doing.
I think moms need to take the pressure off of themselves because the best thing that you can do, especially for your baby. Toddlers are different, especially for your baby. You put them on their back and you give them time and space to figure out how to be a baby and how their bodies move and where their mom is going, and look at the lights on the ceiling. Like, they don't need a show. No. They don't need a toy in their hand. Just let them be. Yeah.
And you can still spend time. Like I said, I go, and there are times when I play with Noah. I mean, I homeschool him, so we do play a lot together. I guess I shouldn't say I don't play with my kid, but like, when it's just like dedicated time where I'm like, okay, the TV's been on for like 45 minutes. We're going to turn the TV off. We're going to go play. I go in the schoolroom. Him and Lily are just hanging out, playing, and I'm reading a book.
Well, and what's cool is you're reading a book. So you're not sitting on your phone and your kids aren't thinking, oh, mom's somewhere else. No. You're with them. Yep. There's nothing dividing that. Yeah. And sometimes they just want you to be there. Yeah.
Like sometimes I just open my scriptures. I'm like, you want me to read this while you play? Because busy hands and active mind. So I mean,
or if you're like, you're really needing to get an exercise in, like put them in the stroller, walk the neighborhood, play I Spy, or, something that just feels like you are not neglecting the things you need to get done, but you're inviting your kids into the process. Yeah. I just think there's so much pressure on moms to entertain their children.
Where did that come from?
I don't know where that came from because it's not biblical. It's not historic. It's not.
Like my parents never played with me. My sister and I were so close. We were outside all day, every day.
And maybe we're overcompensating for maybe like how we felt when we were, maybe we're like, oh, we wanted to feel like.
I remember feeling like I needed my parents.
I don't either. I
had my sister.
I had all my siblings. So I know. I know. Maybe it's just that first kid before they have a sibling.
Because you're kind of like, it's just me and you. And like, what do we do?
They just look at you like, so.
and maybe because we're such clean freaks, we're like, okay, you're playing. I'm going to take this time and go clean the house. I will say now at my time where I'm cleaning and the kids are playing is full of a lot of me like peeking and seeing because Noah will just pick Lily up and carry her around the house. So I'm like, okay, are we safe? What's going on?
Yeah, Sunny's trying to pick up Ledger too, and I'm like, I don't know how to tell you that's the worst thing you could do right now.
Well, at first you don't want to like
overreact. You know,
you don't overreact for sure. But at first I was stopping him, and now I'm just like, okay, you're actually proving that you're really good at this. And I'm like giving him some space because he's like, he knows what's safe and what's not safe for her. And I'm all like every day I'm so impressed that he'll just, he's so gentle. Right. He's so, I don't know. I'm just always so proud of him. He's such a good big brother.
I know.
What a good boy.
How to not care what other people think of you.
That's hard. I don't know. Get a few viral reels and you'll stop caring really fast. Dude, every week there is a reel, at least one that goes over 100,000 views, right? And it's usually because I say
people
something.
People are so mean.
I asked Brady, I'm like, am I a divisive human? Because it's always my big mouth that gets us in trouble. Like there's a one right now going viral that was like, it was me saying like at 6 months postpartum, you can either start to rebuild your marriage or you can take steps for a roommate phase. And I've got all these dads on there saying like, I must not love my husband and sex is all that's important. Yeah. And like, I didn't say everybody's going to go through a roommate phase.
Yeah, no.
Calm down.
People are so aggressive. I feel like when people expect you to speak from a place of everybody's experience, just makes no sense to me. Like I'm obviously speaking from my own experience. Take it or leave it. Yeah. Don't take it as a personal attack on you because we have different experiences. Yeah. I would say there's really only like a few people in my life that I really care what they think. Well, I don't know. That's actually not true. I think in general, I want to be known as somebody that's kind and loving and a good friend and a good, there's a whole list of things that I want to be known as. But I think I get hurt when I'm misunderstood.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
So
that's why the viral reels used to bother me.
Yeah. So if somebody sees me through a lens of which I'm not wanting to intend to be, then it really hurts me, because I feel like I have a pretty good self-awareness and I want to know if I'm doing something wrong. I ask all my friends all the time, I'm like, please tell me if I hurt you, because I want to know, because I don't want to repeat it, and I want to mend things, and I want to be more like Christ, right? But I don't know, like strangers could care less. There could be somebody on my Instagram cyberbullying me, or somebody in the grocery store yelling at, like, I don't care. If you're a stranger, I don't care. I care about people who know me, and I want to make sure that I'm loving them well. I think that's what it comes down to. Yeah.
Are they in your village? Are they your husband? Are they your children? Are they your savior?
Yeah.
If they don't check those boxes, then it really, honestly, it has no effect on you. It really doesn't. Because if they're not in your village, if they're not someone you talk to every day, they're not someone that you really respect their opinion, if they're not your family and God.
I think it's true that there are people in your life, in everybody's life, who are going to be committed to misunderstanding you. Yeah. Let them misunderstand you.
And it's a reflection. That's like the oldest trope in the book. Like, it's a reflection on them and not on you. But it really is. They're projecting their unresolved trauma onto you. It's not your responsibility.
And God knows the full story, right? Yeah. Like, he knows the full picture. So let him know the full picture. Yeah. And, let go of the need to defend yourself, because that is something that I'm just so defensive over myself and the people that I love, that if I feel like anybody in my life is being hurt or misunderstood, I'm like the first one to go to bat for them. But learning to just take a step back and be like, you know what? If someone is committed to misunderstanding you or me or whoever, let them. Yeah. Let them. It's their loss. Like, did they ask us a single question? No. So,
That is a hard one. And I also feel like sometimes we're given these things to learn like a bigger lesson in life. Like, if I care so much about what other people think, maybe I'm supposed to really focus on what Christ thinks of me. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You need to get back to the root of your identity, I think, which is such a like blah, blah Christian woman word, but also it's true. Like, what are you sourcing your sense of comfort and self on? Yeah. Because if that's not something like the Lord, it's going to always be shaken, and it's always going to turn and change, and that's hard. Be on my phone less, be more active, fuel my body with nutritious food. I think we've kind of covered those things.
That's great though. Good for you, Mama.
Yeah. Be creative this year. We want to move to the US and have to start all over.
Oh, good luck.
My husband has many dreams and ideas, but I get stuck in the shoulds and the fear. I want to be creative with our life vision and not get stuck in comparison or the fear of change. I would say comparison completely destroys creativity. Yeah. So that's a really good, line that she just drew. Yeah. Anything to say?
I actually have goals to be more creative this year, because I love to write. Yeah. I write poems to my children. That's like my thing. I've always done. I've kept a journal since I was like 6, and I write a lot of poems in my journals, and that's what I do. So I have like, I probably, I'm not even exaggerating, have like 30 different notebooks lying around the house, because if I get an idea of something, I didn't need to write it down. I just write it down. So this year, I have a leather bound journal, and my goal is to like collect all of the poems I've written to my children and put them in to this one book, so I have something to like give them. I think creative goals are fun. I love that.
I know.
And I think it's important to be creative.
It totally is, especially as a mom, where you can kind of just get stuck in the mundane and the ruts of things. Like, to have those outlets that's another one of my quarterly goals, is like every day I'm writing a page of my book, and every day I'm writing some kind of writing, and I'm putting it on my social media, because that's what my page is about, is writings. And I just, for so long, was like, I don't feel like doing this. I just don't really have anything in me. Nothing came to mind. But it's an intentionality thing. You kind of have to choose creativity. You have to open up the space for it. It's not really just going to slap you in the face when you're a mom. You have to make the time to do that. So it's a good goal. And that's part of just trusting, like, tomorrow I will have more words today, because you're like, eventually I will run out of words. Surely. Like, no, you won't. Just keep giving yourself that space. I love that.
And also good luck moving to the US. And it's so funny. I'm the dreamer in my relationship, and Brady is my realistic, pull me down to earth guy, which I need. And we balance each other out so great. So it sounds like you guys kind of have that same dynamic in your relationship. So good luck, and just know that you don't fight against each other. Use it in a way to balance each other out and work as a team. And I think you guys will be great.
More patience and less yelling.
This one, I think it's really important to get help with. I think trying to do this by yourself can be overwhelming and hard, because a lot of the reason why we yell is because when our kids do something that trigger a fear in us, first we have to think, why did it trigger a fear? Was it a situation you wouldn't have been safe in?
Why did Sunny have a spider on her arm this morning?
That's scary. But like, if your kid's being loud, right?
Yeah.
Why does that trigger a fear? When you were loud as a child, were you spanked? Were you yelled at? Were you made to feel unsafe or like it wasn't okay? Like it takes a lot of deep work to figure out, why am I yelling? And then you got to learn how to calm that sympathetic response to be in a parasympathetic state again before you respond or react. So if that's something like it's a real goal, like get some help with that. I'm sure there's books. I'm sure there's like people you can talk to, but I think.
Yeah. And it's hard because I feel like sometimes we're just probably overstimulated and we're like, I just need everything to stop right now so that I can have a minute to think.
Everybody yells a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, totally.
There is not a mom on this planet that is not ever just like, oh.
Although I actually have a neighbor that I promise you, she's so calm that I'm like, do you ever get angry? Like you almost just like, do you ever tell me, do you get angry? I'm not going to say more than that, but yeah, you're not alone. No, and you're just like a human being, and you have a lot of human beings that need all of you every day. And sometimes that's a lot. And sometimes we don't have the coping skills we need, or we do and we forget about them. Yeah. You know, and
that's okay. But if you're like in my situation, I was raised in a home that was based on fear. And so when I had a kid, I realized a lot of things triggered me because my body literally felt like I was going to get hit if that continued. So it was like a lot of therapy to unwire all of those big reactions.
Right. How to stop living in fear. It's gotten worse since I have had children.
That could be postpartum anxiety. So before we speak on that, I would say if you have postpartum anxiety, you should get professional help with that. Yeah. It's not worth waiting for. So reach out to somebody and get some help. But remember when I was going to Mexico, my parents were watching Noah, and I was physically ill from how terrified I was to leave him. And I reached out to our community, and I was just kind of like telling like people about my situation. I got the same advice over and over. I bet like 25 different women said the exact same thing. God does not teach in fear. He does not give you fear. He teaches and he guides you with peace. So that fear you're feeling is not from God. And I think that alone was enough to shift something for me. Like, okay, something else is going on where I'm feeling this intense anxiety, this intense fear. This is not God. This is not truth. And that really helped me navigate that space.
Totally. And that's exactly what I would have said. It's like, yeah, the Lord only speaks to us through peace. And I love to say this too, talk about stomping on Satan's face. He doesn't know our future. So every time that he tries to talk to you about some probable outcome of some kind of scenario, you can look at him and you can say, you truly don't know what you're talking about because you don't know the future. Only God knows the future, and he doesn't speak to me in fear. He doesn't speak to me in the ways of fear. He speaks to me in the ways of peace. And that brings me so much comfort, because that can just like solidify for you that the fear you're experiencing is based in no truth. It's not coming. God doesn't warn us like that. No. You know, he guides us gently and with comfort and with peace.
The same you would guide your children.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but I feel like I think that you're right. There probably is an aspect of being postpartum that might not even be like a diagnosable postpartum anxiety, but also could just be like, I have this new life that I'm caring for. And just in general, sometimes it hits me the weight of raising children and being entrusted with them. It can feel really scary. But yeah, just kind of use your discretion on if you feel like it's manageable or not.
Yeah.
I'm skipping some of these that we've already covered. Less TV time. I feel like we've kind of covered that. I think my biggest advice for that would be cut it out completely and then reintroduce it slowly. And if you feel like your kids are really addicted to super hyper stimulating shows, cut it out completely. For an extended period of time. It's going to be rough the first couple days. Force them to be bored, force them to play with your toys, go outside, whatever they need to do, and then look into some lower stimulating shows if you want to reintroduce them, and then reintroduce them and see how that goes. We're like only 1 month without shows after Sunny watching so many during my pregnancy and postpartum, and now like anything comes on the TV and her eyes are like glued to it. She doesn't care what it is, right? Because she just hasn't had a show. So I think that their capacity grows for what they would sit through after that.
Yeah.
Saving money.
Good luck. I'm sorry. I hate money.
Okay, well, here's
not that I don't like money. It's just that like
there's a couple like little things that you can do that I recently did. If you don't do this and you haven't done this, go on your phone, click on your name in your settings and look under your subscriptions on your phone, and you will be shocked by the things you are paying monthly for. Really evaluate monthly payments. I think that's one of the biggest things that stacks up. Like sit down with your spouse, look over all of your monthly payments, decide what is necessary in this season, what is not necessary anymore. And really file through those, get rid of those. Yeah. So, you know, since we were giving up shows for 3 months, we deleted all of our accounts, and we're like, wow, we're going to save like $100 a month just on that, you know?
You need to really learn how to budget, I think, which is why I say good luck. Cause I hate this, but like your budget, you need to have like, if you don't have a roadmap of where you're going, like if you're just driving to Texas without a GPS, it's going to take you a really freaking long time to get there. So if you don't know where you're going, you don't have a map how to get there, you're never going to get there. So like take your budget, your monthly income, and break it down into percentages. Like you know that 40% of your monthly income is going to your bills. 10% is going to go into a savings. 10% is going to go into paying debt. 10% is going into, I mean, you know, you've got to allocate the way your family needs it, but have a budget. Look at it, which I hate doing, but you got to do it.
Yeah.
If you really want to
like
save money.
A way that I've saved money on groceries, because we're buying the more like expensive groceries, is I meal plan every single week. On Sundays or on Monday, I pick 4 dinners. I pick 1 breakfast and 1 lunch. So Sunny and I eat the same breakfast and the same lunch for the whole week. And then Chase eats his whole same lunch for the whole week and breakfast for the whole week. I do those separately because he's taking his to go. Sunny and I are not. But I plan all of those out. I get on the Sprouts app. I order all the ingredients that I need just for those 3 meals every day. And then some snacks, some fruit, you know, like the staples in our house. It is always right around within probably $20, the exact same amount of money. I'm not perusing aisles and picking out, oh, this looks fun, this looks good, and then there's no plan for it. My fridge is completely, and my pantry, empty by Sunday because every single thing was bought with a purpose and for a purpose, and it was used, and it just feels very manageable. We know it's very predictable what we're going to spend every week, and then we leave one night opened for leftovers, and then another night open for if we want to eat out or order in, and then Sunday dinners are at my parents' house. So
is that red light still on?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, that's great. And then also like stop following fashion influencers, like those free people dupe influencers and the Amazon ones get me because I'm like, that looks great. I'm going to order it right now. I just have to comment link. It gets sent to my inbox. I'm going to have it in 2 days.
It's okay.
Unfollow all those people. They're great. I'm not saying like their content is bad. It's just too good to unfollow.
And listen to our last episode because we talked about like building quality over quantity.
Yeah, and
just keep that in your head. I want to feel confident in recognizing the Holy Spirit speaking to me. Okay, we just talked about that. That's perfect.
It takes practice.
And I think like the more that you're in the Word, the more you recognize His voice, and the more you know what He has to say versus what something that would never come out of His mouth. And you're able to kind of run that filter of like, is this me? Is this Satan? Or is this God?
And ask people. I feel like talk to your friends
some
and
wise
ask people
influence.
How they feel the Spirit, because I think everybody is a little bit different.
Totally.
Like if they know it's coming from God or not.
Letting go of control. I think we've kind of covered that a little bit, maybe. I feel like that's really hard to do as a mom.
Yeah.
That's really hard to do, especially with little kids that you have to steward and take care of. Like, letting go of control can mean so many different things. It could mean I need to trust my husband more. It could mean I need to trust a caretaker more. I need to like trust that my kid knows how to climb up that giant tower at freaking O'Brien Park and not fall through the cracks. Whatever it is. I don't know.
I think it's like immersion therapy. You just test it a little bit at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize that they were safe, or you realize that whatever bad thing you were worried
mm-hmm.
about didn't happen.
Right.
And you get a little bit braver, a little
mm-hmm.
bit braver, a little bit more able to let go.
Yeah.
It just takes time.
Mm-hmm. Just a little step. And usually some people like pushing and encouraging you along the way. I want to focus on my health. I've neglected myself far too long, and now I'm feeling the effects of it.
Feed yourself good food. Move your body every day, whether you're just walking or exercising. Get outside. Get the sun
mm-hmm.
in your eyes, in your eyeballs. That's where you start. Just keep it simple. Honestly, when someone says, I want to focus on my health,
mm-hmm.
keep it so freaking simple that you can't not do it.
Yeah, like every day there's like a different thing you're going to do that day. That might not really a resolution, but my word for this year is move.
I like that. Lots of people, that's like super trendy, is picking a word for the year.
Yeah, like someone else said, nurture.
Mm-hmm. While you're gathering your thoughts on that, I had because I was like, I don't feel the capacity to set goals right now in this moment. Brady and I are going to sit down in the spring and do that. But I did write down like things that I want for the year. I wanted to grow closer in my friendships. I wanted to go closer in my marriage. I wanted to grow closer to God. I wanted to grow our community, and I wanted to rock homeschooling, right? And so like I have those things written down. And if something comes up in my day and it doesn't fit into one of those categories, I'm like steering away from it. Like if it's not benefiting one of the things I said I wanted to do, one of the themes I picked, then I'm moving on from it.
Yeah. I'm
not giving it as much thought.
Yeah. I've always really admired the word thing.
Yeah, I think that's great.
It's really, I really like that. I personally, I feel like for me, it's hard to, like somebody said, content. And that makes a lot of sense to my brain. I'm like, content makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're, that's a constant reminder, you know, to tell yourself that. But I think that like I need more practical things.
Yeah.
Like the words are a little bit harder.
Yeah. Your brain just operates differently.
My brain thinks different. Last year I did choose a verse, and it was mourn with those who mourn and rejoice with those who rejoice. Because I think sometimes Christians like to just choose one or the other. Like I'll show up for you when things suck, but you're never going to hear from me when things are working out. Or I'll be there to celebrate your wedding and your babies. And, but like, if you're, you know, in the depths, you're never going to hear from me.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just interesting that Jesus said to do both.
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like? There's a depth of relationship there, you know, like waiting. But this year I didn't choose that. I think I'm just doing the daily stuff. But we have a few more minutes.
So tired. My brain is like so shut
Band is
off.
like half asleep.
I'm
but
trying real hard.
We love hearing from you guys, and we're so grateful every time you make the effort to, you know, write us. And if there's anything that we touched on tonight that you would love, you know, none of you guys got like tons of time with us answering your questions, but if you ever message us either on the Motherhood Collective or our individual accounts, we will get back to you.
Yeah.
In one way or another.
It might take us a few days. I feel like we used to be able to respond really quickly, but now we have a lot going. Not only do we have a lot going on, but we have a lot of followers. So it's become
we have our personal accounts where we're getting messages. So it's not even just the Motherhood Collective. It's like catching up on all of those. And then like the texts in our individual phones and our children and our families. And
yes, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But I do feel like motherhood is my ministry, which definitely includes you guys because I don't think that's just my motherhood. I feel like motherhood in general is my ministry, and I want to be there and be present and help as many mothers be confident in their capabilities, like as much as possible. So I definitely always want to respond to your messages. Yeah. Just reach out. Yeah. And give me some grace if I forget for a few days. I'll get back to you.
We will. It's okay. And then we are also going to be having an event in February. It's just up in the air. We know location and all the things, but we'll be releasing that information hopefully soon. And it'll be for local moms. So if you're in Colorado and you want to come over, it's going to be very chill. It's going to be different than our other events. It's going to be very laid back. Like, come, we'll buy you a coffee and let's chat. So details are coming on that. And yeah.
I'm going to go to sleep now.
Yeah. Amanda's yawning. But thank you guys so much. And we will see you again next week.
See you next week.